Hi there YouTube friends, Koulouria, and welcome back to Mom's Greek Kitchen, the channel where I teach you my mom's Greek recipes in her memory. Today we're doing another cookie recipe. For the holiday season, I thought I'd do the series of cookies that Mom used to make, and today we're going to make Koulouria. Koulouria. Kouloura is something that is coiled, or a coil in Greek. So Koulouria are coiled cookies. They are not a very sweet cookie, but they're great for dunking into coffee or tea. They have a mild vanilla flavor. They're a favorite with kids quite often because they are an easy cookie to eat. Yeah, so these have two ingredients we haven't used so far. One of them is this guy here, which is ammonia bicarbonate, and it is a cooking ammonia. It used to be called hartshorn, Hartshorn, because it used to be made from the antlers of deer. It is an ammonia. It is a leavening agent. You can get it at Middle Eastern Greek supply stores, probably online. As you notice, it's in a bag and inside another container, which is airtight, because this stuff stinks. Just like ammonia. It's very strong. You will get a blast of ammonia when you open your oven door, but once the cookie's cooled, you don't even taste this at all. So this is an old leavening agent. It can be replaced. There are replacement conversions online if you want to look up how much, I think it's baking soda they use to replace the ammonia. But it's one of the few that the Greek recipes that still use this, and for tradition's sake I'm going to use it, and also in memory of Mom, because that's what she always used. Yeah, so you use this and baking powder. So I guess like in other recipes she's got baking soda and baking powder. This still uses this one. The other ingredient we're going to use is vanilla powder. So vanilla powder or vanilla sugar is a vanilla flavor that is used in this recipe. Either vanilla sugar, vanilla powder, vanillin is another name that you'll find it under. Dr. Oetker makes both of those. Greek stores will sell vanilla in unmarked packages, like they'll be rebranded or reissued from a bigger bulk amount, so you won't, it'll just say vanilla and that's all it will say on it, just like the ammonia comes in a container that says ammonia, and that's about all you get. So I'll be using those two in today's recipe. So give me a second to set up here and we will be back to start our cookie. Bye bye for now. Alright, welcome back. So we're about to start our Koulouria. So I'm going to add to the bowl of a stand mixer. You can all do this by hand, of course, but it's a lot of extra work. This is 1 pound of butter, partially melted. I mean, it doesn't have to be like completely melted, but really soft, so more than room temperature. And to that we're going to add 3 cups of sugar, basic white sugar. And we are going to turn the machine on and let that go for a good 5-10 minutes until it's nicely fluffy, pale, and when you spoon stuff on top, it stays on top for a bit. It's called in ribbon stage. So we're going to do take our eggs to the ribbon stage, and then we'll back for the next step. As you can see, our butter and sugar have been creamed nicely together. We're now going to add 9 egg yolks. And we're going to continue to beat them until, again, it's nice and smooth and creamy. At the same time as that's happening, I'm going to beat the egg whites into semi-stiff peaks. It doesn't have to be very stiff because they're going to basically go into a dough, but just to add a little bit of air. So just, you know, soft to medium peaks will be fine. And we'll be back when that's done. So we've got a nice creamy batter going here. I'm not going to add in the beaten egg whites. So again, 9 egg whites. I'm just going to drop the bowl here to make it a little easier. And they're just, you know, beaten. They're not like, you don't need to make them completely stiff, but nice and foamy. Because most of that air is going to be beaten out because it's on the mixer. But that's how Mom did it, so that's how I'm doing it. Let's start on slow here. I've also warmed up a cup of milk, just body temperature, a little warmer. And to that I'm going to add our 2 teaspoons of baking ammonia, the ammonia bicarbonate. When you do that, keep your face away from the milk because the fumes coming off of it will be a little strong. And then we're going to pour that mixture into this mixture. It will start to foam, as you can see here. Gradually pour it in, keeping your face averted. We'll be adding quite a bit of flour to this, but to start I'm going to use 5 cups here. I'm going to add our 3 tablespoons, 9 teaspoons of baking powder and a teaspoon of salt. And this is our 2 teaspoons of the vanilla powder, or if it was the vanilla sugar I may use a little bit more, but this is vanilla powder, so I'm going to use 2 teaspoons. Add that into our mixture. Give it a bit of a quick mix so it's not all one lump of baking powder. And then we're going to add it slowly to our mixture. I forgot my spoon. Okay, here we go. So that's all 5 cups that I had with the flavorings. It is definitely not ready yet. What we're looking for is a soft, pliable dough, like Play-Doh, because we're going to be forming these into coils and things of that sort. So I'm going to keep adding flour until we get the right consistency. So we're back. So as you can see, the dough is nice and pliable. It's not very sticky. I mean, it's not sticky, but it does, you can shape it. You can turn it into a ball, you can turn it into a snake, which is what most of our cookies will start out with. And I'll show you it better in the shaping when I take it out of the mixer bowl. Alright, so I'll be back in a minute. Okay, so there is our finished dough. Now the dough actually has to sit for an hour before we start shaping. But I will show you basically what it looks like now. This is the consistency that you want to stop at when you're adding your flour. Let me get a little closer there. So it's basically, you want to be able to roll it out into a snake. This actually may need a little bit more flour, but I will see what that's like. Yeah, maybe just a little bit. So you work in some flour by hand. It should be a little firmer than this. This is pulling a little too easy. You want to be able to do, you know, a standard coil easily. And then we're going to shape it like an S. That's one shape. That's a traditional shape. Another shape would be like this, and then twist it around. And the most traditional where it gets its name from is a little circle, a coil. Okay, so I'm gonna add a little bit of flour. I'm gonna let it sit for an hour, and then we will be back to finish the shaping. Alright, we are back. We have our dough made now. I've been testing it. So I ended up adding 10.5 cups altogether of flour to get to a dough like this, which you can shape. It holds all the shapes well, it rolls out well. So I've had it sitting for about an hour. And now we're going to start shaping our cookies, and I will show you what the basic shapes are, like I showed you earlier, but with a little bit more detail. I'm going to use my cookie scoop to get them all of the same size of, or same amount of dough in each cookie. And they all start with the exact same thing. We're going to start with a log, basically, or a snake. So I'm going to say that's about 10 inches. And the first one we're going to do is the figure S, or the double coil, whatever you want to call it. So you just turn one end in on one side and then coil the other side the opposite direction. And that's your finished cookie. Mom tended to do one side smaller than the other, so it was sort of looks like a capital S. But you can do them both exactly the same, which will be closer to an 8. It's up to you. So we'll do another one. And these are going to be baked in a 350-degree oven until they're lightly golden. They don't get, we don't want them too dark. They are nice brown on the bottom. And we can bake them as is, or we can glaze them with a beaten egg yolk with a little bit of water and then brushed on, and or add sesame seeds on top of that. So those are the variations that Mom used to make. The other shape we have is you make your snake, you bring the two ends together, you give it a twist, you tap it down so it doesn't move too much, and that's your other shape. Now these do rise quite well, so they will be a slightly bigger cookie than that. If you're going to do the coils, or the wreaths or rings or whatever you want to call them, I wouldn't make the snake as long. It should be a little thicker, and one end overlaps the other. And those are the three basic shapes that Koulouria come in. So, oops, sorry, that's not a good place for them to be. Move the camera a bit. So, so that's the shapes I will continue to make. I probably won't be making those because we never did. Mom always made these two, but this is a traditional shape for Koulouria. So I will continue, and I will be back when they're, at least I have a couple baking sheets done, and then I will bake them, and I'll come back after that. So see you soon. Alrighty, I have my first two trays done. So this is the little candy cane twist, or whatever you want to call it, shape. And then this is the S's, which is my favorite shape, which is probably what I'll do the rest of the cookies in. This does make a lot. This is what I've done so far, and I've already got all these cookies. I will tell you how many at the end. These are now going to go into a 375-degree oven. I think it's about 15 to 20 minutes, but I will give you a more precise time when I cook them. Alright, so we'll see you when they come out of the oven. And we're back. So as you can see, our cookies are out of the oven. They are completed. I've got the variations here that Mom would make. We've got completely plain, so it's no glaze, just as is. Glazed with the egg, the other shape that Mom used to do all the time. A little bit of sesame seeds, or a lot of sesame seeds. Again, these are great cookies. They keep forever, pretty much, as long as they're in an airtight container. My granddad, my mom's dad, his breakfast every morning was a cup of tea and a couple of these cookies crumbled into it, allowed to get soggy, and then he would eat them with a spoon. But they're great dipped in coffee. They're even great dipped in wine, supposedly. I don't drink, so, and I don't like wine. Yeah, so these are Koulourakia, or one Koulouri, two Koulouria, and a bunch of them would, and diminutives would be Koulourakia. So, I hope you enjoy them, and join me again for another video. Take care. Bye-bye.